One text can ruin your whole night. And it usually is not about the text. The real battle starts in your mind. That is where meaning gets created. And once you understand that, people stop feeling so confusing. Human psychology explains what people say, hide, chase, and fear. And when you see those patterns, everything starts to change. People do not react to facts. They react to what the facts mean to them. Your brain hates missing information, so it fills silence with stories. Most emotional pain starts there. Not in the event, but in the story around it. One late reply can feel like rejection, especially when old pain is already awake. But here's the truth. Your first feeling is not always the full truth. You read tone from tiny signals all day. Most of it happens without you noticing. When you feel anxious, even a neutral face can look threatening. You do not just see people. You see them through your past. Someone says, "I'm tired," and you hear, "I'm tired of you." Pay attention to this. Meaning moves faster than logic. Psychology gives you a pause. And that pause is powerful. You stop and ask two better questions. What happened? And what am I assuming? That tiny pause can save a fight. It can even save a relationship. Instead of panicking, she asks, "What is wrong?" That changes the whole room. This is where it gets interesting. Calm people usually read reality better. You stop chasing single moments. You start watching real patterns. One cold night means little. 10 cold weeks mean something. That shift makes you calmer. It also makes you harder to manipulate. And once that happens, your whole emotional world becomes less chaotic. Now, here comes the next big thing. Emotion controls attention. Your brain remembers what feels intense, not always what is good for you. That is why painful words can echo for years. They stick because they burn. One insult can outlive 100 compliments. That is how strong emotion is. But here's the truth. Intensity is not the same as importance. In relationships, fear grabs attention faster than comfort usually does. That is why mixed signals feel addictive. Your brain keeps chasing the answer. Uncertainty becomes a hook. You keep pulling for the next reward. The phone lights up, and your heartbeat jumps before you even read the name. Pay attention to this. Unpredictability can feel like chemistry. Toxic people know this pattern. They use distance and reward to keep control. Marketers know it too. Intense feeling holds your attention. Healthy love often feels quieter, but it feels safer in your body. Steady kindness can feel boring at first, especially if your nervous system is used to chaos. This is where it gets interesting. Fireworks can be a warning sign. Once you see this, you stop worshiping chemistry alone. You start asking better questions. You ask if peace is present too. That question changes everything. It protects your future. Because not every strong feeling is a green light. Some feelings pull you in. Better feelings hold you together. Now let's go deeper. Pride often hides pain. Sometimes ego is just pain wearing armor. It wants to look strong. Ego protects wounds. It tries to stop more hurt from getting in. When truth feels humiliating, people shut down, not because they do not care, but because they feel exposed. He makes a joke instead of saying he feels rejected. That is armor in action. But here's the truth. Strong behavior can come from weak pain. Anger often covers fear. It sounds loud because fear feels small. Control often covers insecurity. The tighter the grip, the deeper the fear. Distance often covers shame. Pulling away can feel safer than being seen. Behavior starts making sense when you look beneath the surface emotion. Pay attention to this. Explaining behavior is not excusing behavior. You can understand someone's wound and still refuse their bad treatment. This is why logic often fails in conflict. A threatened mind is busy surviving. Facts bounce off when someone feels attacked. Their body hears danger first. When you see the wound under the ego, your response changes. You become wiser. This is where it gets interesting. You can become firm without becoming cruel. You stop begging triggered people to be reasonable. That saves your energy. It also protects your self-respect, because not every battle deserves your full heart. Sometimes the smartest move is distance. Not because you hate them, but because you understand them. And that brings us to something even more important. Safety. People open up when they feel safe, not when they feel pushed. The nervous system decides trust first. Words come second. If the body feels danger, the heart stays locked, even with a polite smile. She smiles through the date, but her body is still saying no. But here's the truth. Tone matters more than perfect words. Your eyes, pace, and patience send the real message. People feel that instantly. Even children read energy first. Adults do it too. Adults just hide it better. Their bodies still notice everything. Pressure does not create honesty. It usually creates defense. Pay attention to this. Calm curiosity opens doors that force cannot. When people feel room to breathe, they tell the truth more easily. Safety says one simple thing. You can be real here. What's your problem creates walls. Talk to me creates space. This is where it gets interesting. Safety reveals people faster. When fear steps back, the real self steps forward. That is when patterns appear. This changes dating, parenting, friendship, and work. Every bond lives inside a nervous system. If you understand safety, you understand connection. And that is a superpower. Now for the next truth. Behavior reveals belief. What people repeat shows what feels normal to them. Habits expose belief. If chaos feels familiar, calm can feel wrong. That is how deep belief goes. Someone raised around yelling may call peace boring, not because peace is bad, but because it feels unfamiliar. Words can lie. Habits usually tell the truth. But here's the truth. Repeated choices matter more than pretty promises. Psychology teaches you to watch consistency because consistency is character in motion. An apology means little if the pattern stays the same. That is not change. Many people get trapped here. They fall in love with potential. Pay attention to this. Hope can blind you to evidence. You start listening to hope over behavior. That is where self-betrayal begins. Hope without proof becomes dangerous. It keeps you loyal to pain. When you understand belief under behavior, you see the future sooner. Patterns start speaking clearly. This is where it gets interesting. Patterns whisper the ending early. That helps you leave sooner. Or stay wiser. It helps you choose better, too. Because evidence is kinder than fantasy. And once that clicks, your standards get sharper. Not colder, just clearer. Now let's make it personal. You teach people how to treat you. Every ignored boundary becomes silent permission. People learn from what you allow. Resentment grows where honesty never showed up. Silence has a cost. You say, "It's fine," and hurt quietly grows for weeks. But here's the truth. Boundaries do not ruin love. Many people fear boundaries because they fear being left. But the real loss is slower. It is losing yourself. Clear limits create respect. Confused sacrifice creates confusion. That does not mean the boundary was wrong. Pay attention to this. Boundaries often hurt because they touch old wounds. Rejection can wake up old fear. Fear of not being enough. So you overgive, over-explain, and overstay. All to feel safe. You keep proving your worth to someone already benefiting from your effort. This is where it gets interesting. One calm boundary changes the room. The users get angry because access is being limited. The healthy ones adjust. That reaction tells you a lot. Boundaries do not end good love. They reveal it. And now the deepest point. The hardest mind to understand is your own. Your patterns choose people before logic does. That is why some mistakes repeat. Can mistake familiar pain for love because familiar feels convincing. You trust the charming person fast because they feel strangely like home. But here's the truth. Self-awareness breaks the loop. You start noticing what activates you, not just who attracts you. That one skill changes every conversation. Because now, you can hear yourself too. You catch your trigger in real time before it drives the whole moment. Pay attention to this. Triggers often belong to old stories. Maybe silence scares you because it once meant abandonment. Maybe criticism burns because love once felt conditional. When you name the wound, it loses some power. It stops running the room. Instead of exploding, you say what got touched. That is real growth. This is where it gets interesting. Real power is not control. Real power is understanding what controls you. That changes everything. Once you do that, relationships get clearer. They stop feeling random. You stop living on emotional autopilot. And life gets lighter. Think about that for a second. Most people repeat pain they do not understand. But once you understand the pattern loses its grip. You read people better, and you read yourself better too. But here's the truth. Psychology does not make you cold. It makes you clear. That is different. You stop taking every action personally. You start seeing the pattern behind it. And when you see patterns, you stop repeating pain. That is the real change. You choose better people, better words, better boundaries. Pay attention to this. Peace often starts with understanding. Not understanding everyone else first, understanding yourself first. Because once you understand your own mind, fewer people can control it. That is how your life changes. Quietly, then completely. You do not need magic. You need awareness. And awareness is what breaks invisible chains. Every single time. Understanding psychology does not harden your heart. It steadies it. You stop getting lost in moments. You start seeing systems. And when you see the system, you stop repeating the same pain. If this opened your eyes, stay with me for the next one. Because the more you understand people, the less they control you.